I'm so excited to interview you because there are a lot of people like me who are looking for a good business coach because they want to grow their businesses. That's me. Okay, so my first question to you is, what is a business coach? What does a business coach do?
Well, a business coach is somebody that's going to help you find the holes perhaps in your business and help you see what it is you don't see. One of the mentors that I've had along the way in business is Keith Cunningham. And one of the lines that I love from him is, what don't I see? It's important to understand that it's not what you don't see it's not what you see that's going to hit you. It's what you don't see. Mm-hmm. It's those things that are hiding in the shadows, so to speak. So it's important to know the dangers and know some of the things to avoid and the mistakes not to do. And when you hire the right coach that's been in business, then they know some of those pitfalls. Listen, we don't know all of them. I mean, I've had multiple businesses over the last 30 years, and many of them have been successful. Many of them have struggled. And I'm a bad quitter. So, there's been probably once or twice that I should have gone bankrupt in that particular business, and I didn't, because, again, I'm a bad quitter. And I don't know. I couldn't coach somebody through a bankruptcy or anything like that because I've never done one. I've taken the lumps and I've taken the medicine I've had to and grown through it. So and again, at the same time, I recognize that sometimes that is an option that should be exercised, and sometimes there's not. So there's a lot of different things in business that you've got to be aware of. How you set your business up originally is very important. Accounting is very important. Knowing your numbers is very important because the language of business is the numbers. And that's one of the things that entrepreneurs specifically are afraid of, don't like to look at. They're like, I'm just going to give it to my accountant. Oh, I'll deal with that later. And that's really one of the things that winds up killing you, because most people think that the money that they have in the bank is the money that they've made. It's not. That's just what came in, but there's a lot of other expenses that go with it. That's not your profit. That's cash. That's not cash that's readily available for you. So it's important to know the difference of spendable cash and cash that needs to stay in the business.
And do you help with that too?
I have an overview conversation of that. That's certainly not my forte. So I would recommend, there's a few things that I would recommend along the way. So whenever I tap into something that I'm not an expert in, I'll either bring in the expert or I'll guide you to where you can get more information.
That's great, because I would need that information also, and I'm sure so many of us do.
Well, I'm gonna plug my buddy Keith Cunningham's book, The Road to Less Stupid.
Okay, well, I will certainly look that one up and get it.
Yeah, okay. And he's a Texan, and he's got an unbelievable sense of humor. So even in the title of the book, yeah, it's a great book. It's a great read.
Do you have a business coach? Is he your business coach?
I don't have a business coach specifically now. I do work and collaborate with a lot of other experts in the field. So I'm fortunate to have a circle of friends and be in masterminds that we coach each other.
That's great. And how did you find them?
Well, some of the masterminds I built myself. Others, again, as we had mentioned offline, I've been in business. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 30 years. And for the last 20 plus of those years, I've also run in tandem in the personal development space and in business and just to learn, because I'm a perpetual learner. I believe that, when we stop learning, we start dying, right, in our business and in our mind and everything else. And so, yeah, as the saying goes, when you stop growing, you start dying. So we always have to continue to learn and innovate. So I'm always learning from the masters. And 21 years ago or so, I met Tony Robbins, and it changed my life. It changed my perspective on not just on the personal side of things, but on the business side, because business is a personal thing. So I learned from Tony Robbins many things. Where focus goes, energy flows, and in business it's the same thing. If you focus on the problem, all you see is problems. When you focus on solutions, you find solutions. You focus on opportunity, you find opportunity. So that's part of my philosophy and understanding that. life is happening for us, not to us, not just in life. And you may have heard me kind of talk about this when we've met on Clubhouse and other places. And I say that, and many times we attribute that to life, right? And life's experiences, what that life is happening for us and not to us. Yet in business, it's the same thing. You know, when we make those mistakes in business, it's a bad mistake, but that's not life happening to you. It's happening for you, because that mistake, that hurdle, that challenge is there to force you to learn it. Because if you don't learn it when you're small, I'd rather make $1,000 mistake than $100,000 mistake. It's a lot easier to recover from the $1,000 mistake. So it's important to realize that when you're having a difficult moment, it's the questions we ask. You got to ask yourself, why that? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this? What can I learn from this? What does this mean? Right? And another question, who do I know that can help me find the solution? Because so many times we're afraid to ask for help. How's it going to look? Right? So we stay in that crazy 8, you know, but not really going anywhere. We're on that treadmill running, not going anywhere. So it's important to know and remember to ask for help, and really talk to people that are in either the same industry that you're in, and even better, different industries. It's important to maybe join your business. What's the word? I can't believe your Chamber of Commerce, right? And meet other business owners, because the idea is that the way that you can resolve a lot of issues in business is to spend time with other people that are in business, right? Because they face the problems that you're going to face and that you're facing. And maybe you faced a few that they haven't. So it's important to surround yourself with like-minded people, right?
Right.
More important, I'd say as well, to find yourself with like-hearted people, because not everybody has the same mindset. So you've certainly got to be careful out there, including while you're out there choosing the right coach. I don't even call myself a coach, to be honest. I call myself a strategist, because I didn't just take the course. I didn't just read the book. I've lived the life. So I'm a strategist. I give you tips and strategies, and I work things out so that, and I know what works and I know what don't, because I've applied it in my business. I didn't just read it or see it or hear about it. I've experienced it.
Well, okay, so I'm a very late starting entrepreneur. I was a college writing professor for 40 years, okay?
Wow.
And I retired at age 68, not because they told me I had to retire, because nobody knew my age. They thought I was a lot younger, but I had to retire because I wanted so much to do my own thing, okay? And so at age 68, I became an inventor. And then what my niche is, I'm trying to be in the niche of older people, because we are an overlooked market. And nobody, very few people understand that we are still alive and we still have things to do. And my motto is, passion has no expiration date. And I think I'm an example of that. So at 68 years old, I became an inventor, and I invented a product for older people. Actually, here's my product. It's called Tip and Split. And
I saw that. Where did I just see that? I saw that somewhere.
Okay. Well, maybe because it's on my Instagram. And so what it is when if you ever go out to dinner with your parents, you know the problem. We cannot read the small print on the menu because, you're still young, but once you hit 50, forget it. You know, it starts going downhill every year. During the pandemic, it went even further down. So my invention, it has a magnifier. And because most restaurants are dark, I have a little light that's less obtrusive than the smartphone. And then it can also figure out a tip and split the bill in seconds, 3 seconds to be exact. So I made this product because older people don't really like apps. Okay? Like if you tell me that there's an app on the smartphone that can figure out the tip and split the bill, I said, yeah, I know. And there's also an app that you can use it as a magnifier. But I don't think your grandma is going to use an app to magnify the bill, the bill or the menu. So this is really for a different market, like older people. And I one of the things that I really figured out is that I'm on Instagram. I was never on Instagram before because I didn't know how to do it. So I hired somebody to do it. And then I realized I cannot promote my products on Instagram to my age because there's nobody my age who does Instagram. There is nobody my age who's on Clubhouse. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to target younger people like you to buy it as a gift for Mother's Day for your mom or your grandma. Okay. So I'm just telling you what I do. And then I became then during the pandemic, I put this on hold because I didn't want to encourage older people to go out to restaurants. Well, they couldn't, first of all. But, I think that we are high risk and we should stay in. So I started developing another project for older people. Okay. And for older people, what I did is I never went out and I gathered all my pictures from growing up. Like in the olden days, we used to have photo albums. Now everyone just uses a smartphone, but I have 17 photo albums. So I gathered pictures and I put together a book so that my grandchildren and my future great-grandchildren are going to know all about me after I'm gone, because nobody's going to know about me unless I tell them. So my new project, I'm talking too much about myself, but I'm just going to tell you my business. So my business is, I wrote this book and I'm teaching a course now in how people can write their story in 1 month. Okay. And this is not your typical memoir. This is based on my photo albums for me. Okay. And I have a lot of pictures and like here's a picture of our boat. I grew up, there are 6 kids. And we named our boat Dr. Skakel after our family, David, Rebecca, Sharon, Connie, Arthur, Chucky, Louie. And then when they had one more child, we had to call him Eddie so we could keep the name of our boat. And so I wrote that story in my book. And I also told how we went fishing every weekend and would come back with 100 fish. And one day we had this fish that didn't die. So we put him in the bathtub, and nobody in my family ever used that bathtub for the rest of our lives. We would never use that bathtub. So I'm telling these little stories about my family, things that, I think they might find interesting. And one of my favorite stories is something I didn't even know. My grandparents immigrated to the United States from Poland in 1912 from my mother's side. And they had to postpone their trip because my grandma had morning sickness. And the trip that they postponed was on the Titanic.
Wow. So
I have about 20 different incredible stories about my life that nobody would have known. I wouldn't have known. I found that out from a cousin because it was his father whom our grandmother suffered morning sickness from. My mom never told me. So all these stories are now in my book to pass down to my future generations. That's and amazing. I think that everybody wants to do this and they can do it without me, but I'm just the impetus to start and to be accountable. So this is my new project. And actually I call my course Write Your Selfie. And I call it Write Your Selfie actually because young people, millennials, always take selfies. And people like me don't take selfies. So this is their chance to write their selfie. So anyway.
I love it. And I think that, one way that you can do it, just start going on. And what I would do with that project, I just go on and share your story, share bits of your story.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to do that. So anyway, so I have 2 businesses.
So let me just give you, because I happen to be kind of a word guy. So you're not trying to do anything. You're figuring out what it is that you're doing.
Right. So if I hired a business coach, I was trying to figure out,
You're figuring out.
I was figuring out my brand. Is it Tip and Split? Is it Inventor? Is it Write Your Selfie? And then somebody on Clubhouse was brilliant. And he said, Connie, your brand is Grandmapreneur.
Mm.
And so that's what I'm going to propose to be, Grandmapreneur. And I actually have the trademark for Grandmapreneur.
Here's what I would recommend as well. I would do a hashtag if you're going to be on Instagram. Just always hashtag Grandmapreneur underneath your message, and you can go. I can try to find out, and I'll message it to you after. You can actually register that hashtag so it belongs to you, and it's going to cost you. It's really expensive, so you might have to take out a loan. It costs $9.
Oh.
So, and then that way it's Grandmapreneur, that belongs to you. It's registered to you.
Okay, that would be great.
It's registered to you.
Well, actually, when I got my domain for my website, I tried to get Grandmapreneur, and they wanted to sell it to me for $3,000.
So I would go to grandmapreneur.club, grandmapreneur.me, grandmapreneur.net, and go with one of the other ones. Yeah.
Well, I already set it up, and what I did is I did grandmapreneurinventor.com.
I would go with another one, just grandmapreneur.net, and have that one go to it as well, because you can buy these other exchanges for like $3 a year.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you.
It's just too many words, right?
I know. I just wanted something that was free.
Yeah. Well, well, it wasn't free. It cost you a couple of bucks, but it's almost free. So I would just, you don't have to pay $3,000. You can go to grandmapreneur.club would actually be a great one, because it's almost like you creating a club, and .club is a new extension.
Well, I'm going to do that. Does that mean I change my website?
No, you can just have that be what you use, and it'll just drive everything to it. And you can just talk to whoever built your website. It's really super easy.
Thank you.
They didn't charge you anything to do that, actually.
Thank you. Okay, so so you're already giving me some great advice, because I've been working alone my whole career, the last few years. Just
listen, I love it. I wish, I think I'm a fairly good speaker, and I'm a really pretty good editor, but getting to start that writing process has always been a challenge for me. That's something that I am working on, getting better, because I do have a book that's in the works. And, basically I've spoken most of my book, because I just find it as an easier way, because when I try to write, I'm always second guessing myself. So
you can always send it to me. I was a writing teacher for 40 years, and I have perfect grammar and perfect punctuation, which nobody knows now because of texts,
Right. Punctuation, you mean I can't just say Y-U-O-R instead of Y-U-R-E, with that apostrophe? I can't, no?
No. So if you need some help, that's a freebie for me, because I love doing it. And I'm helping my patent attorney write his book. He's writing a book about inventing.
I'll tell you what, I've got a client for you.
Really?
Yes. Okay. She wrote her book she's Turkish. She wrote her book in Turkish and had it translated into English, and apparently it's a tragedy. It was not done properly. So it was something that she wanted me to do, yet I feel comfortable having that conversation with you offline about that.
Okay. Well, anyway, so that's something that's easy for me. Business is not quite so easy.
Right.
Okay.
Well, listen, it's not for the faint of heart.
Right. We all have our good things that we can do. So I'm actually having the time of my life doing this, because most of my friends don't do anything.
I am fun, isn't it? I love the creation of business. I'm now involved in another business as well that is amazing. Something called Nourish Me. It's just with someone that I'm co-creating with David Perez, or actually it's his company. He brought me in, except we're taking it. We're jacking it up, and we're taking it to the next level and really getting it expanded. So the creative process of re-energizing, reinvigorating, and creating new teams and everything going out there is a very exciting part of business for sure. Something you said before, really, really struck me because you said passion has no expiration date. And I freaking love that. And you're so right, and I'm glad that you're doing this because you're going to inspire other people to do the same, because some people just think that it's, well, I'm already this age, I can't do it. And so many people go, as the late Wayne Dyer said, they go to their grave with their music still inside, or their invention still inside, or their story still inside of them. So I honor you for that, because, the older generation has a story to share.
Exactly.
So many stories and so much history that I've always enjoyed speaking with people that are substantially older than me, because I learned so much from the past, right? So I love that.
I'm just not cut out for just gardening.
I do. Listen, I will tell you, I actually have an organic garden. And yes, I have some chickens out there and beehives and everything else.
That's great. But see, most people my age, that's all they do.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. And look, it's something that wouldn't be all I wanted to do either, because it would drive me a little batty after a while. So, so just kind of going back to what we were talking about, it really is important to make sure that whoever you're hiring, that they've been where you want to go, because the most expensive mistake you'll ever make is take advice from someone who's never been where you've been.
So is there some kind of client who you would love to work with, like your ideal client?
So I work with entrepreneurs that are already at a certain level, because I'm not an inexpensive strategist. So it's about taking things to the next level. It's that person that's in their business and feels like they're stuck in their business. They're doing really well, but they're not happy. They're unfulfilled. Their relationship is falling apart, and they don't know why. And I do. And there's steps that you can take to fix that, to mitigate that. There's steps that you can take so that you can become a business owner and not a business operator, which is two different things. Many people say, I own a business. Well, the reality is most people own a job, right? And people got to understand and recognize that, because until they recognize that, it's hard to get to that business owner position. And most people are business operators because they can't walk away from their business. Bottom line, if you have a business that if you walk away, your business falls apart, then you're a business operator, not a business owner. A true business owner can walk away from the business and it continues to thrive without them, because there's systems and processes in place. There's SOPs, standard operating procedures. There's things that they've set up a team that's effective and efficient, that doesn't just do what they know that needs to be done, but they go above and beyond, and they're creative. It's that culture that you create within your organization. Now, of course, if you're in an organization of one or two, then that also changes the game. Yet, if you want to grow to the next level, if you have one or two people, regardless whether you're in real estate, whether you're an accountant, an attorney, whatever it is, to get to the next level, you've got to let go of the reins. You've got to be able to delegate. You've got to be able to trust other people to do what they do best. Mm-hmm. And even the part that they do best, so many people says, well, that employee was no good. Well, perhaps. And perhaps that employee was just in the wrong position. I've got a dear friend of mine that I work with now and on a semi-regular basis. And he tells a story how he hired someone for his sales team, and the guy was terrible and he was going to fire him. Yet then basically on his exit interview, when he was firing him, they started talking. He understood him a little bit better. And now 3 years later, he's the CFO of his company. Mm. Right? I mean, think about that. From getting fired to now running a multi-million-dollar company as a chief financial officer. Mm-hmm. It's because he just wasn't in his lane. Mm-hmm. Right? And especially coming out of COVID, there's so many people that are unemployed and underemployed, that they're taking whatever job they can to make ends meet, and people don't understand that perhaps they're not working in their zone of genius. So it's important to recognize, number one, what is your zone of genius? We already know, right? You're an inventor, you're the artist, and you're an artist in multiple ways because you're also a writer. So you're an artist. I guess this, I'll say this, and I know that we're not really following perhaps the order that you wanted to go in. I'm going to share this because I think that this is important as well. So this is important not only for you, but for your listeners or your readers, whoever's going to hear this. Is in business, there's really three types of people, and many times people don't know who they are, right? They don't know, and it's this. There's the artist, right? That creator, that person's that's the inventor, that's creative, that just loves their art, and they want to make money, but they don't even care as long as they can produce their art. They're so in love with their product and their brand. It's their baby, and no, you can't sell it. It's their baby. They don't want to let go. That's the artist. Well, an artist is only going to grow but so much, because next is a manager, leader, quote unquote, not leader of people per se, but in many cases, leader of people, but that manager, that systems and processes person that's going to be, the person that's the bookkeeper, that's on top of things, that says, no, you got to do this way. You got to go. That's a standard operating procedures person, right? You got to go A, B, C, D. No, it's not D, B, C, A. It's A, B, C, D. You've got to do it this way, because the reality of it is, if you're a baker and you have a cake recipe, but in many cases, there's many recipes that if you whip the eggs or you do things out of order, you're not going to get the same result. And so many people have a great recipe, but they skimped on getting the really good chocolate chips, and they went with the cheap ones, and they wonder why they didn't come out as good, right? So you've got to put the right quantities and everything else. So business is very much the same way. You've got to make sure that you do things in the right order. You can't put the cart before the horse, so to speak. So there's a manager, leader that's important for that. But they're not in many cases, they're not the artists. They're not very creative. They're kind of in their lane. That's who they are. They're the management. And then next, the third person is you've got the entrepreneur. Now, the entrepreneur these days has a couple of different definitions, right? Number one, entrepreneur now is cool. It's the buzzword. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. When I was an entrepreneur 30 years ago, everybody kept asking me, when am I going to get a real job, right? Right? Because they see you're doing new things, and give up. What are you doing? This and that. So entrepreneur is someone that is willing to take the risk to create a product, make a product, and make things go. Yet the true entrepreneur is the risk taker, the person that they've got $1 million in the bank. I'm going to invest $1 million. Oh shit, I lost it. All right, let's just go make more. And a true entrepreneur is all about the deal. And if he makes money today, great. If he loses it, doesn't matter. Tomorrow he's going to make more, and he's not emotionally attached to the product. He loves the product. It's cute. I love it. Oh my God, this calculator. I don't really give a shit. Is it going to sell? Because if it's not going to sell, he may love it so much, but he's not going to invest in it, right? Because he needs to make money. That's the entrepreneur. And they're all about the money. They don't really care about the systems and processes. They don't really care too much about the product. They just want to know that they're going to make money. Now, many people, me, for example, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, and I thought I was an artistic entrepreneur. As it turns out, I'm an entrepreneurial artist. I'm an artist first, in the way that I communicate with people, in the way that I can speak, in the way that I can make things happen in sales or whatever it is. I am an artist first, an entrepreneur second. And I have an assistant who, thank God, is the manager. She's the manager leader type person, because without her, I wouldn't be able to get half the things done, because I get easily distracted because there's problems that you got to take care of. But while you're taking care of problems, the regular stuff has to be taken care of as well. So those are the three, really the three types of people in business, and knowing who you are is important. And the reason it's important, because once you know who you are, you know who you need. So I just thought I'd add that.
I am so grateful to be meeting you, Tony, because you're so inspiring to me. And I think that you're going to help so many. I'm sure you're helping so many people. I guess the problem is, do you have time, to help more clients?
Well, the reality is, and it's funny you say that, because I only work because I have the businesses that I run as well. So I'd love to do coaching full time or strategy full time, yet how much can I charge? I'm not, like I said, I'm not inexpensive,
right.
And I heard this from someone on Clubhouse maybe about 5-6 weeks ago, which was powerful, and it made me smile. And he said, it was Myron. I don't know if you know who Myron is. I can't forget his last name right now. he said, if you're the best, nobody expects you to be inexpensive. And if you're inexpensive, nobody expects you to be the best.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very wise what you're saying. So,
But I'm happy to field a phone call, and if anybody wants to check me out, they can just go to, if you can put it in your show notes or something. It's just getupandgrow.com, getupandgrow.com, the way I write it, or you can just hashtag get up the letter N grow. Type that into the Google search, and you'll find me somehow. So
I found you already.
Yeah. So that's, so yes. But yeah, I'm always willing to take on a few clients. Again, I only work with, but a few clients. I don't take on clients, and every 40 minutes I have another client, just cause I just don't work that way. That's just because if somebody needs,
I'm learning
an hour and somebody needs an hour. Sorry?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
I said, if I have a call for an hour, and they need another 10 minutes, I can't leave you, in a lurch, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this, and I know initially when we started speaking, it's not about personal development and personal growth, yet I say this, and I steal I borrow a line from Lauryn Hill's song, which I don't know if you're familiar with her or her song, yet there's a verse in her song that I've heard in it. I share this often when I'm having the business conversation, because the verse is this: how you going to win if you ain't right within? How are you going to win if you're not right within? So if there's something not going on right inside of you, emotionally, physically, then how are you going to win at life? How are you going to win in business? You can't show up in your business and be your best version if your family life is in shambles. So much so that when somebody goes through a divorce, their business inevitably drops. And sometimes when their business is exploding and doing so well, inevitably their family life goes to crap, leading to that divorce, and then their business suffers because of it. I really don't believe in balance, but there's a semblance of balance. And that semblance of balance is when you're at work, you give 100%. When you're at home, you give 100%. And you got to remember and I'll say this, and this is good for life and this is good for business. We've all got to learn to say no more often. And I'm a big believer in the Richard Branson quote that says, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity, say yes and figure it out later. And on the complete opposite side of that, we've got to learn to say no more often, because so often we give out too many yeses. We've only got but so many yeses in the day, because our time is our most valuable asset. It's the one thing that once you give away, you can never get back. You can give away your money, you can give away the shirt off your back and get it back, but you can never get back your time. So we only have but so many yeses in our life. So the more yeses we give during the day, the more no's we have to give at night. And sometimes that's to our loved ones, it's to our kids, and sometimes to ourselves. So I say all the time, it's okay to say no. This is something that I'm training myself to do, is say no more often, because you can always revisit and let the person keep explaining, and then you can say yes. Because if you say yes and then you can't make it, you went from a hero to a zero. And now you look like the bad guy instead of the person that was trying to help. And so many times I found myself overcommitting. So it's good not to overcommit. It's good to underpromise and over-deliver, not the other way around. And I say no more often, so that you don't, during the day and throughout whatever business is going on, everyone gets the best of you and your family gets the rest of you. So make sure that you save some for yourself. Say no a little bit more and don't say yes so much.
So I want to ask you one question. Of all of your clients, have you had some who are not successful?
So I've had people that struggle more than others, and I do have an intake interview, so to speak, where we have a conversation to get to know you. And I'll be brutally honest. If I think that I can help you with what you're doing, I'll say I can help you. If not, I can refer you to someone else and just say, listen, it's not going to work. And, have I fired clients before? I've had clients that I say, listen, maybe you just need to take a break, because if we're working on something, you make a commitment and then you don't make the commitment the first week, the second week, the third week, then I can't work with you, because A, you're not going to succeed. And then you're going to say, well, Tony's coaching, I work with Tony and he wasn't very good. No, it's just because you didn't do the work. So I want to set you up for success, and I also want to set myself up for success. So after the first 3 or 4 sessions, we have a sit down and say, "How you doing? And are we aligned?" Because if we're not, then I'll credit you back whatever, I try to correct whatever the situation is. And if not, then I credit you back, and I know that goes contrary to so many people. They're like, "Well, I don't give refunds." I'm like, well, then that's a really poor business decision, because in the day of in the world we live in, the information age, having a bad review just because if it's not working, just let it go. If you don't want to work with me, I certainly don't want to work with you. Why would we be in a contentious situation? So I do things a little different than some.
It's so interesting to hear your philosophy about coaching, and there are a lot of coaches out there. I'm writing an article, and it's called Coaches Everywhere. Do I really need one?
I love it. I love it. There are coaches everywhere. That's why, like I said, I don't even call myself a coach, because that word is being watered down a lot, because again, there's a lot of coaches that just go out, take a course, and then hang a shingle, so to speak, and now they're coaches, yet they've not been where you've been. And I can't tell you how to get somewhere I've never been. I just can't do it. Some people say that they can, but it's not the same reading the book and having lived the journey. Again, the most expensive mistake you'll ever make is taking advice from the wrong person. Right.
Well, you're making that very clear. And I thank you for this, because this is helping me in a few ways. First of all, because I'm writing an article about it. So I'm trying to do my research, primary research.
I hope you've enjoyed your session.
I have enjoyed my session, so it's helping me, and it's also going to help so many other people who have no idea what kind of business coach to hire. And my conclusion is that everybody in a business needs a coach. That is my conclusion.
I do agree with that, because there's a quote that says, it's important to hire a coach because you can't watch your own swing. Tiger Woods, who is arguably one of the best golfers, alive. Well, maybe not. Whatever. I'm not. I don't follow golf. I love golf, but I don't follow it that closely. He's got three swing coaches because he can't watch his own swing. So, and I'll say this in closing, and I'll say that that number one, I love that you're getting back into what you're doing, and whether our retired, I don't even know how to say it, our retired brothers and sisters, grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, whatever it is, whether you get into business or whether you just get into the business of helping others in business, because there's a wealth of knowledge that's out there right now. And there's people that are retired and that are open and available to perhaps be a fractional CFO for a fraction of the cost that you would pay anyone else, because they're simply just bored and they want to be involved. Someone who can give the advice that they need, someone who's been where you want to go. Right now, you're an inventor, so that's not your case yet. You just said, if you're writing a book, who better than you, right? So I love that you're out here, and I encourage everyone who's listening to this that may be retired, think about yourself not as spent, think of yourself as an asset to someone else, and be out there. One of the things I say all the time, yeah, you're welcome. One of the things I say often is, if you're in the position to help someone, you should, because perhaps God is answering their prayers through you. And by you helping someone else, you're also doing wonders for yourself. And I'll close with this. And I know I said that before, but I am really going to close with this because I've got a 6 o'clock. Is this, many times in business, we're going to face criticism. You've undoubtedly already also faced criticism. Hold on 1 second, Zane. 1 second, brother.
Yeah, listen, I'm jumping on.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, bye.
That would be my 6 o'clock. Sorry about that. You're going to have to edit that out.
Thank you so much for this.
No worries. My pleasure. And feel free to jump on that. And you can edit this a little bit out. So inevitably you face criticism. And the important thing to know is that criticism is the tax you pay for success. Criticism is the tax you pay for success, because so often people are afraid of criticism. They're afraid of being criticized. They're afraid of what people are going to say, what people are going to do. And it's a tax we pay for success. So just know that.
Thank you so much, Tony. I will see you in your meeting.
Yes. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you and seeing you in person here, Connie. I hope, like I said, that I've been able to shed a little bit of light. I appreciate you, my friend.
You're wonderful.